Hey everybody, this is Justin Ronan from Agriscaping.com. So this is a Market Monday, and I decided I'd bring you into my kitchen here and show you how to preserve citrus, kind of from worst to first. So the absolute worst technique that you can do to preserve your citrus is put them in a plastic bag and leave them on your counter. So that's the quickest way to get them to over-ripen and mold for you, especially if they're stacked in multiples. So if you've got them sitting around, you want to make sure they have a lot of good airflow. A lot of times people think the airflow is best if you put it into a paper bag, and a paper bag is better than a plastic bag, but as you'll see deep inside of here, we've still got some moldy ones starting to show up, especially when you start getting them stacked. Now, unlike apples and pears and peaches and a lot of these other ones that put off an ethylene that helps them ripen, citrus don't do that, and so they need a lot more airflow in order to keep them from molding and causing some challenges and stuff like that. The next best is put them in the fridge, but not on a shelf, but that can still cause some molding and other issues that might show up. They'll also dry out and get very unkept, I guess you could say. They just dry out inside the fridge if you got them in the fridge that way. Now, one quick point is you want to make sure that anytime that you are using citrus, you want to, if you wash them off, be sure to dry them before you store them. It's really important that you dry them off, because if they stay wet, that's the quickest way to getting an orange to mold is getting it wet. So any of the citrus world kind of works in the same way. Now, on the counter, there's a lot of cool ways to do it. Here's some of my favorite ways. Obviously, you've got your big harvest basket. This is what we do at the farmers markets. We'll always put them in these. But anytime you have something like citrus out in the open, it needs to be in an airy thing. We like the more natural fiber stuff. This one right here is one of my favorite baskets. This thing is actually created by a friend of mine. You can find them on Etsy. This is a jute basket, and I think it's Sewing by Sam if you want to check her out. She actually makes these baskets in a variety of forms and shapes and stuff. We use them a lot. We really love these baskets. This is for this week. So if I'm going to be eating something this week and I've got some citrus, it's not only beautiful, makes a nice display, but you just need to make sure that you're going to eat it within a week. Anything that's out on the counter and stuff like that in open air, it needs to be done in the week. It's a great way to prep things for juicing. So like these ones right here, the Tangelos, great juicing orange. And in order to get them ready for juicing, leave them out at room temperature. Things juice best at room temperature. So let them get down to room temperature first before you juice them. It softens the membranes around those cells that are holding the juice, making them easier to juice. You end up with a lot less pulp, a lot more juice, as well as the flavor usually is a little more rich. Now, if you're like me and you like a nice cold orange juice, best way to do that, room temperature for the juicing, but then chill it in the fridge after you've juiced it. You'll have a much richer and more full-flavored orange juice when you do it that way. Now, another way that we like to preserve them, let's say that we jumped into our blood orange, just like I'm showing here, and we've dove into that wonderful blood orange, but we only ended up eating half of it. There's this little thing we've got called Food Huggers that we helped fund this company when it originally started. It was really a lot of fun to be a part of their GoFundMe kind of campaign. But this little guy can literally be just stuck right inside of that, and then I can go and throw this in the fridge. It helps protect. It's kind of a second skin on the outside of my citrus, allowing me to come back later. Works even better for your grapefruits. This is a nice Oro Blanco, one of the sweetest grapefruits we have out here. So we like to let them ripen on the counter. Then we'll put them in the chiller at night. We'll put them in the fridge, let them chill down. We'll eat one in the morning, but like this, let's say you only wanted half, and then you get a nice big food hugger on it. You can just preserve it that route. I really love these food huggers, again, for preserving my fruit long term. Now, my absolute favorite way to preserve my fruit is putting them in the fridge. They'll last for months, literally months. They can last a lot longer in the fridge. Let's say you've got 1 week on the counter. You've got maybe 2 weeks in the fridge all on its own, but then you can get 4 to even 8 weeks if you put it inside the chiller and have it on that fruit setting. So right inside here, you can see we got a variety of different fruits. And what it does is it basically slows down the entire ripening process, regardless of the type of fruit you have. Now these apples, we know that we didn't want them to ripen anymore, so they're okay in the fridge, open like this, with other types of fruits. And we also know that these guys we're likely going to be eating this week anyway. So with my apples, we'll put them in the fridge if we're going to eat it within a week. Usually that's how you want to go with most apples. If you chill them too cold too long, they start actually rotting from the inside. They get this kind of clear iridescent kind of space inside, and it'll start almost tasting alcoholic. And so you can get an apple alcohol out of an overly refrigerated apple. So be careful with those. winter pearmains. This is one of our apples that we actually get late season apple here in Arizona. We're still harvesting some of these right now, oddly enough, in January. But with a lot of our other ones, like the Murcots and our Algerian tangerines, these are actually really good ones we throw in the fridge. And we'll leave them open as long as they're inside our fruit chiller. And then even a better way to go even a month, got the food hugger on top of our lemon. And that's the way we like to preserve citrus here at the Roner House and with Agriscaping.com. So if you enjoyed this and want to learn more, Market Mondays are going to be our day that we're going to show you how we take it from harvest to market and basically how we preserve these things long term so that they'll last longer, that we can come week in and week out with great produce and make sure that they're still fresh to the taste and awesome in your fridge. We'll see you next time.